Imagine buying an entire land twice the size of Texas for less than the cost of a Manhattan apartment today. Sounds unbelievable, right? But that's exactly what happened in 1867, when the United States pulled off one of the most jaw-dropping real estate deals in history. And the seller? Russia. This is the wild, true story of how America bought Alaska for just pennies, and why Russia has regretted it ever since. Let's go back to the mid-1800s. At the time, Russia owned Alaska. Yes, the massive icy frontier we now call the 49th state was once part of the Russian Empire. But for the Tsar and his advisors, Alaska was more of a burden than a prize. It was remote, hard to defend, and expensive to maintain. With rising tensions in Europe and fears that Britain might seize Alaska in a future conflict, Russia decided it was better to sell it than lose it for nothing. That's when they turned to the United States, a growing power with a hunger for expansion. In 1867, U.S. Secretary of State William H. Seward sat down with Russian diplomats. The Russians made an offer: over 586,000 square miles of land for just $7.2 million. That's around 2 cents an acre. Sounds like a steal, right? But at the time, many Americans were furious. The press mocked Seward. They called the deal Seward's Folly and labeled Alaska a frozen wasteland. Congress almost didn't approve it. People wondered, why spend millions on ice, snow, and moose? But Seward had a vision. He saw beyond the frost. And boy, was he right. Over the following decades, Alaska revealed its secrets. First, gold sparking the legendary Klondike Gold Rush in the 1890s, drawing over 100,000 fortune seekers. Then came the oil massive reserves discovered in the 20th century that would become vital to America's economy. Add to that natural gas, fisheries, timber, and some of the most breathtaking natural beauty on the planet. And strategically, Alaska became critical during World War II and the Cold War, allowing the U.S. to keep a watchful eye on Soviet movements just across the Bering Strait. So, what did Russia lose? More than it ever imagined. Historians believe the Tsar's government didn't realize what they were giving away. Some modern Russians still view the sale as a historic blunder. To make matters worse, Russia didn't even get to enjoy the full payment. A portion of that $7.2 million was reportedly embezzled or lost in transit. The money vanished, just like their chance to keep one of the most resource-rich lands on Earth. Alaska officially became a U.S. state in 1959. Today, it's more than just oil and gold. It's home to native cultures, majestic wildlife, and natural wonders from Denali's Peak to the glowing Northern Lights. It's a symbol of raw beauty and American resilience. And the price? Less than 2 cents an acre. What once looked like a ridiculous purchase turned out to be one of the smartest moves in U.S. history. One man's gamble. One nation's triumph. And for Russia, a lingering regret that still echoes through the corridors of history. Because history isn't always about battles and borders. Sometimes it's about bold choices and the land beneath your feet. If you enjoyed this story, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Do you think Alaska was America's best deal ever? Or can you name an even bigger win? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video, where history gets real.